Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight, I'm going to do an update on the Joe McKnight case down there in New Orleans, Louisiana. He was the football player who was killed in a road rage incident by a guy. His name is Ronald Gasser. He's 54 years old. Now, going back over the case, Mr. Gasser was originally not charged for the incident. Now, the reason why I'm putting this case out front is because they had another incident, and I talked about it last night. It was a parallel case that happened in 2013 that involved a black man, 75-year-old, Roger Batiste, and a white boy by the name of Shane McNair. He was 22 years old. Now, the cases were very similar. They were both road rage cases. They were both down there in Louisiana. Now, also, there was a third road rage case down in Louisiana as well. It was a black on black. I believe the other football player was Will Smith. He played for the New Orleans Saints. Now, I'm looking at all these road rage cases. I want to ask this question. Where's Jesse Jackson? Where's Al Sharpton? Where's the Black Lives Matter? Crickets. Don't hear 'em. It's not a big case. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to just talk about Ronald Gasser. There was a lot of pressure put on Mr. Gasser to be put away. Did a video on it yesterday. Here's the problem. Didn't go far enough. Why was Roger Batiste charged with second-degree murder and 5 years of prison when Mr. Gasser, 54 years old, was charged with manslaughter? It's almost like he got a slap on the wrist. And he actually got out of the car just as Mr. McKnight got out of the car. This is the information that I'm getting. And he pulled a gun. Mr. McKnight was unarmed. Now, looking at the other case, Mr. McNair, 22 years old, he wasn't armed, but he actually walked up to the car. And Mr. Batiste pulled out a gun to defend himself, but he got time. What's wrong with this picture? You see, I know a lot of these jails, if they're privatized, make money off of inmates. They do. But what's not fair is, where's the Black Lives Matter crowd again? You have two black men, Mr. Batiste, Joe McKnight. One's in jail, one's dead. You have no Mark Lamont Hill, no Michael Eric Dyson, no Cornell West, no Al Sharpton, or Jesse Jackson. Now, to the credit, the NAACP, and that was only the local chapter, they stepped in, and also there was some nationwide outrage. The problem was, it was on Yahoo, but it didn't have that much airplay on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and all the other ABC channels. That's what I call the alphabet channels. Why? Guarantee, if it'd been a white woman, or even a white man, and it got more airplay, and you've seen the ignorant white supremacists come out wanting to fry the black man. And you may have even seen some of our black women say the same thing. See, the problem with the justice system, I just believe that there's a lot of money involved when it comes to putting black men away, or any minority, if they're male. Mr. Batiste didn't have a record. Mr. McKnight didn't have a record either. But Mr. Batiste, he was put away for defending himself for 5 years. Second-degree murder, which is a felony. Mr. Gasser gets manslaughter. That means he might not serve that much jail time. Is he going to have a record? He's going to have a record. But Mr. Gassner pulled a gun out on Mr. McKnight, shot him 3 times. He was an unarmed black man. That's what the police do to us. Mr. McKnight had no chance. Mr. McNair had a chance. But see, Mr. McNair got out of his car and he came up to Mr. Batiste and was talking. That's just like somebody coming up to my property. If you're going to come on my property, I'm going to defend myself. See, what I'm upset about is there's not that much outrage. Could be a little bit more. And I believe they need to put more pressure on the police officer involved in this case, the judge, and even there's a jury. The sentence is too light. And I just hope this media out here, which I know it's not going to do, starts putting this case out to the forefront. Because Mr. McKnight didn't have to die. I mean, we all get upset. I've gotten upset on the road. But I'm not going to pull a gun out on somebody. Because I know what consequences I have. And I can understand why African Americans get upset, talk about white supremacy, because the law is against us, particularly if you're an African American male. We're stereotyped every day. And I'm not making this something racial. I'm just looking at the facts of the case, because you have an incident where one of them gets a light sentence and the other one, for defending himself, gets a heavier sentence. And he's an older man. And Mr. Batiste could possibly die in jail. Now, he got sentenced last year. Now, it took 2 years for this case to go to trial. Because his case happened in 2013. So now he was sentenced in 2015. So he has 5 years. So he doesn't get out till 2020. That's 5 years of his life. So he'll be 80 years old. If he lives to 80 years old. What I'm explaining to you is, you have 2 incidents. One went too far. One didn't go far enough. Now, is there evidence of racism? That's debatable. But regardless of the case, it just seems like it's racism and injustice on the outside. It does. It's obvious. If you look at the circumstantial evidence. And I have to ask, did somebody pay the cop off, the jury off, the judge off? I mean, the evidence is right there. You have a gun, you have a dead man, and you have witnesses, or so-called witnesses. But regardless, the evidence points toward Mr. Gasser that he was a shooter because he was on the scene with the gun. But why give this man a light sentence? Manslaughter. He should have gotten first-degree murder. Because first-degree murder is a planned murder. He planned to kill Mr. McKnight because he was enraged because he got cut off. Now, I want to caution everybody when you're driving. And I've had it happen to me several times when I've gotten angry. If somebody's tailgating you, if somebody's pull off the side of the road, let them by. Because you have a lot of psychologically damaged people who are driving cars today, and they think they own the road. But looking at this case, got a 54-year-old Caucasian man who's basically going to walk. Did they have enough money to set up a bail for him? I don't know. But I'm scratching my head with this. I saw the information from an article that my subscriber sent me, Terry Russ, 12004 or 112004, and shout out to him. But the update is no better than him not being charged. You might as well not charge him. I just think this is an injustice. And I hate to use the word racism. But you know what? We still live in a culture of racism. It's not going to go away. And the media escalates it. So what I'm urging, there's a Black Lives Matter movement, which that movement's not going anywhere. They're not going to do anything about it. But if you are Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Umar Johnson, Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, Dr. Eric Michael Dyson, and even some of the YouTubers out there like David Carroll, utilize your mouthpiece, the media. I mean, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton have made a lot of money off of racial extortion when it comes to bribing companies like Toyota to hire minorities. I mean, I do give a special shout out to the NAACP, but it's not enough. I mean, the Yahoo ad that I read said there's more outrage in the country. It's not enough. Man, sentence is too light. Gotta push harder. You may want to get the cop on trial. Or if he doesn't go on trial, that might be a little too extreme. Question the cop. Question witnesses. What was in the mind of the judge? Is he a white supremacist? Because I'm not saying that all white people are bad. So please don't take that. But I know part of white supremacy is structured within the corridors of the police department, of the courtrooms, of the government. I know that. And there's a lot of informants. And is there racism? And I want to define racism to people before we start to get into, oh, well, I sound like I'm racist. First of all, being racist comes from the people with the power. I don't have power. So I can be racist, which means prejudice. But I can't cause racism because I don't have power. Here's why. The definition of racism really isn't about skin color. What racism is about is you have the group with the largest power that utilizes the rule of incapacitation to subjugate minority groups from participating in the political, the social, and economic process in the country so they can enjoy the same lifestyle as the group in power. That's what racism is. It's not about the color. And we've all been bamboozled by the white liberals when we hear the word racism. Racism was written in the laws when we had Jim Crow from around the 1880s to the 1970s, particularly in the South. That's what racism is. When there's color attached to it as a group. That's what racism is. But if you look at what Mr. Gasser did, pulling out a handgun, shooting an unarmed black man like the cops do, and he gets a manslaughter charge, that's too late. But then the black man, Roger Batiste, 75 years old, protects himself from being attacked. The white guy walked up to his car and was cursing, calling names. And I wouldn't have known if that white guy had a gun. I'd have done the same thing. And sometimes that's what you have to do. But I believe that this was an injustice. And I'm still not satisfied until I see this Mr. Gasser in jail. He should get about 30 years and first-degree murder. There's no question about it. And I just want to tell my African-American people, we got to stop marching, getting sore feet. The we shall overcome days of Martin Luther King are over. What we need to do, we need to go into the police station. And if you're down there in Louisiana, and we need the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons, if you all are really leaders, which you're not, you just want to get on camera. The Black Lives Matter, you don't hear them involved in this, and it's a murder case. Don't care what you say about it. Road rage, if you kill somebody intentionally, that's murder. Now, manslaughter is accidental. That's what is perplexing. What is he getting from manslaughter? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I still feel that Mr. Batiste sat in jail for second-degree murder. He's sitting in jail for second-degree murder for defending himself, while the shooter named Ronald Gasser gets manslaughter for intentionally pulling a weapon out, killing an unarmed black man. This is what the cops do, and I've repeated it a couple of times in this video. Of course, repetition is the mother of all teachings. So tell me what you think. Should Mr. Gasser get more time in first-degree murder? Or is he okay getting manslaughter and walking away free? That's this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, December 7th, 2016. You can also check me out on Blog Talk Radio every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. Now, if you like this channel, please support it. I'm not asking for any donations. I just want you to come view my videos because I'm presenting you something different. It's education from a professional, mature perspective. And I don't get involved with all the controversial issues. We have other brothers doing that who do it very well. So my market is different. So come to this channel, please be respectful. I like to keep it positive here. I'm realistic, but I like to keep it positive. Because education gives you knowledge, which is power. Also, if you have a business or a topic that you would like for me to discuss on Blog Talk Radio or YouTube, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, I love comments. You got to make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating or pettifogging. If you wish to opine, once again, thank you for watching this video. Until next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.